Tonight, a terrifying scene at a Texas Hill Country high school where authorities say a 15-year-old male student opened fire.
There is a gunshot wound to the head.
Just after 8:30 this morning, first responders rushed to Hill Country College Preparatory High School in Bulverde, just north of San Antonio. The Comal County Sheriff says the student was found dead at the scene after shooting a teacher who was transported to a San Antonio hospital.
It looks as though the student turned the gun on himself and shot himself.
The school placed on lockdown. About 250 students later transferred to a middle school to reunite with their families. And that's where police encountered the suspect's parents.
That student's parents and kinfolks were in the reunification line. And so that's partly part of our investigation, and some of the questions were asked of where the firearm came from.
The relationship between the teacher and the shooter is still unclear. Tonight, a community shaken after a day of horror as investigators continue to search for answers.
Yeah, I have so many questions here. So this happened in Texas at a preparatory high school where a student shot a teacher in the head, then allegedly turned a gun on himself and killed himself. Yeah, I have so many questions. Like, how did a 15-year-old get access to a firearm? How was the 15-year-old able to get the firearm into the school? What type of relationship did the student have with the teacher? Was the teacher a male or female teacher? I just have so many questions as far as this whole story. I can try to take a look and see if there's any more information as far as this story here. See if I can bring up the internet here and just to see if I can find any more information. But yeah, I mean, this is absolutely egregious. It's just no way that kids should be able to get access to these firearms and also get them into a high school. Let me see if I can find another. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
I wanted the word cuppa as in...
Sorry for the ads, but doing this on the go here.
Thank you. Did he hear or see anything? Do you mind sharing? Is that okay if he shares?
It is.
So what happened? What do you know?
All I know is that there were 3 to 4 gunshots. It sounded like a table slamming down, and then I heard someone scream 3 seconds after, and then log slides out of sight sounded, and then everyone just ran out the back to the bus area and across the bus track in front of the highway in the grass patch in front of the school. And then from there we just followed the instructions that the faculty gave us.
Well, he's just really explaining from his point of view here. Let me see if there's more information on this.
Breaking news out of Bulverde right now. We are following a shooting on a campus of Hill Country College Preparatory High School that is in Comal ISD. Thank you for watching News 4 San Antonio at noon. I'm David Chancellor.
And I'm Marisa Mendoza. This is still all unfolding as we speak, but here's what we know so far. The call came in around 8:30 this morning, and after the sheriff's office says a student shot a teacher. That 15-year-old student then turned the gun on himself and died. At 10:08 a.m., the Comal County Sheriff's Office clarified that this is not an active shooter situation. Then by 10:27, it was confirmed that all students were safe and the campus is secure. All of the students who are high school age have been moved to Bulverde Middle School to be reunited with their families.
Taylor, what's the very latest on what you're seeing and hearing from there?
Yeah, like you said, we are along 281 right outside the Hill Country College Preparatory High School. What we do know is a teacher was shot by a student, has been taken to the San Antonio hospital. We do not have an update on her condition. The student involved a 15-year-old male who died at the scene.
So it was a female teacher. So we're getting a little bit more clues here. So again, there's no telling what type of relationship they may have had, if they even had one. This happened around like 8:30 in the morning, so it was right as they was, getting into class. It's normally, the time where students are getting into like their first period classes or whatnot, and this is absolutely horrible. Hopefully, she's able to pull through, but it had to be something that's pretty deep, like for him to even take his own life. Um, it's just really no telling how this is going to unfold.
What we do know now is that the situation is contained and there is no ongoing threat to students. The school was placed on lockdown and students were safely transported to Bulverde Middle School to be reunited with their parents. Law enforcement remains here at the campus as the investigation continues. You can see here at the entrance, we still have a large police presence. Up at the top of the school, you can still see that there was a large law enforcement presence as well as FBI agents who got here on the scene. Now, the school remains on lockdown for now. Authorities do want to urge the public, if you do come to this area, do it only so to pick up a student. Back to you.
And so his parents was in the line at the middle school to, come get their child. So they had no clue actually what was going on. And, in Texas, of course, we know there's a huge like hunting culture or gun culture and things like that. So, the parents could have definitely been, advocate gun owners as they have a right to be. But, and I'm sure they've taken their son out shooting and things like that, but you want to make sure that you secure those firearms and make sure that he doesn't have access to them on a day-to-day basis. And heck, I've seen situations where like the kid will be gifted a gun even at a young age, as young as 15. So we don't know all these clues just yet. I'm sure the parents are getting, questioned, definitely being investigated at this point. And, maybe that footage will come out, who knows, but, it just seems like, man, I can just recall back to like the Columbine things and Sandy Hook and it was another school out in Florida where, there was a school shooting and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's just become like more frequent, like over the years. Like, it's just like, I can't even recall how many videos I've done on either a school shooting or stabbing or something of that nature, that's happened at high schools and stuff like that. So, and it's all over. And it's just like, wow. It just, you kind of give people who are like advocates for, there to be stricter gun laws. You just give them a lot of ammunition, no pun intended, to, validate their point. And let's see if we can get a little bit more information.
Taylor, I want to ask you this. So you said you referred to the victim as a her. We've confirmed that that is indeed a female victim?
That's what's on the press release from the Comal PIO.
Okay. And there are cars parked there on the side of the road where you are. Obviously, there's traffic going through the highways, but do we know who those are? Those vehicles are parked? Is that just more law enforcement presence?
So this side is for the media along North 281. Right here you can see this is all just the law enforcement presence. They have that area over here. And I will say the traffic is flowing pretty normally on this area given the incident that occurred.
All right.
Yeah, we should reiterate, as Taylor had mentioned, a lot of parents are picking up their kids.
Buses and took off and went to this, that have more on her.
A lot of law enforcement presence here from Bulverde PD, Texas DPS, Comal County Sheriff's Office.
So, it looks like there's not really too much more information that they have on this whole thing. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much more information so far, but we'll definitely be, taking another look at this when more information is released. And again, hopefully the teacher is able to survive from being shot. Apparently she was shot in the head as well. So we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out though. Just want to highlight this and you know keep the guns away from these kids, man. These kids are just out here wreaking havoc when they get a firearm in their hand. And I've done stories where it's kids as young as like a 10, 11, maybe even younger. Like even in one story where the young like 4-year-old got a hold to the parent's gun and actually shot and killed the parent. So it's just like even done stories from like in like Durham where a young one, maybe 3, 4, got a hold of a gun and shot himself and stuff like that. And a lot of times it's not really updates on those type of stories. It's just like the breaking news of the story actually happening. But got to keep these firearms out of the proximity of these kids. And it's just that's just the bottom line. Because onesie twosies, but these is starting to be like consistent. Like at least every month you're getting a story of this type of nature or some type of story where it's a kid and a firearm being involved, and it's just absolutely egregious. And very, very sad, man. Sad on all fronts. These parents just lost their child, and the teacher's family is having to be there and pray that their loved one makes it through as well. She may have a husband, who knows, but she may have children. So this is a very, very sad situation, but we'll be taking a look at it again if more information is released. But I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Let me know what you think about this school shootings and how it's become like a trend. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.